Welcome back to Road of Yueyang. So this is going to be for the Chung Mu, the Tier 9 destroyer from the Pan-Asian line. So essentially this is a Fletcher, right? This is a Fletcher class that is bought by the Korea just like after the World War II, if I'm not mistaken. Now in game it is also similar to the Fletcher class Tier 9 American DD. It has the same guns layout, it has the same layout, but only having slightly worse HE DPM, and everything else is the same. Okay, you have 5% fire chance, you have 21 millimeters of pan, you still have those American floaty shells that you may know and love from the USDD line, and it sits somewhere between a Fletcher that is clone, but also adding a lot of Pan Asian flavor into it. Now, Fletcher is more focused on hybrid in my opinion, because you can focus on guns or you can focus on their torps. For Chung Mu, this one is more focused on torps. Why? Because this torp is deep waters. If you have played, if you have watched my previous video on the Xianyang, you know that this deep water torp is insanely scary for cruisers, battleships, carriers, whatever, and whatever that this torp can hit, but can't hit destroyers. Now, Fletcher's has better torpedo reload if you build into it compared to Chung Mu. Actually, the base reload for Fletcher is also better than the Chung Mu. But what the Fletcher doesn't have is that Fletcher's torpedo is 7.9 seconds of a reaction time, which means the enemy has 8 seconds roughly to maneuver and to dodge the torpedoes. But for this ship, it is only 4.7 seconds. And just imagine that most ships doesn't really have rudder shift that could turn in 4 to 5 seconds, right? So that is the benefit of this ship. If you can predict the enemy movement, they wouldn't be able to they wouldn't be able to dodge it without maybe running hydro or something. Okay, now it has your torps also, although that it is really stealthy, it has lower damage and are slower in speed, so you are needing to lead more or to predict more of the torpedoes. So in essence, this is like side grade in my opinion compared to the Fletcher. You still have the same HP, by the way. If you run the survivability expert, the commander skills, you have 20.25 HP, which is quite good, and you have a series of consumables that the Fletcher doesn't have, which is the Pan Asian smoke, because Fletcher have US DD smoke. You have engine boost, the same engine boost as both of them, and you have a reload booster for torpedoes. So this torpedo reload booster could give you like an edge against the Fletcher in those bursty engagement where you want to flood and see an area full of torpedoes. You can do that with 20 deep water torpedoes, or you want to make a permanent flood against an enemy by sending one torpedo set and then waiting for 10 seconds or 15 seconds until the DCP of the enemy cool down, and then you shoot it again, similar to how you play reload boosters, right? Main reload booster. So this in this clip, in this video, I will show you, in this game at least, I will have a really good torpedo hit where I hit like 2 sets, both of the sets, and that will show you how much power this torpedo reload booster is. And that 10.5 kilometers is really great. Now in Xianyang, you already you already probably experienced, right, long range deep water torpedoes on 9.2 kilometers, but they are like Benson torps, so they are slow. But this one is 60 plus knots, so that in itself is good. It's much better than Xianyang. And also you actually have 10.5 kilometers in range, so that's an additional 1.3 kilometers out from the Xianyang. Now you can see right now I'm fighting a Halan right now. Now if this were a Maso or something, I would just run away, but because I know that this Halan doesn't really have the DPM, you know, not nearly as much HE DPM compared to me, even though he is quite high in my, if I remember correctly, my HE DPM is quite lower than Halan. But you know what, I make a gamble and we managed to deal 7,700 damage to him without taking any damage in return. Now this ship is quite hard to play against DDs. Now why is that, right? Because your HE DPM is not the best, okay, and your torps can't hit DDs. So the only way you can kill DDs is through your guns, right? But the fact of the matter is, because your HE DPM is so low, or not so low, but it's quite low, mid to low end of the spectrum, there is a probable chance that if you fight like one-on-one on even ground, you will lose, okay? You will lose. But what you want in this ship is to play is that you need to make use of your teammates, maybe like CV swatting here, or and let me smoke up and farm this. Maybe that's one of the options, or maybe try to bait the enemy destroyer to shoot at you, and then you pop smoke, knowing that your teammates behind will able to spot that destroyer, so that you can fire on them while you are remaining in smoke. So it's like you need a lot of thinking just to deal with enemy destroyers, and that is in your tier, right? If it's say in the upper tier, like tier 10 or maybe even tier super ship, that you have a huge problem dealing with them quite effectively, okay? Other destroyers like Shimakazes, etc. can just dump torps into smokes, or dump torps just in case, like hoping one of them will catch the DD. Well, this one, well, cannot, right? So that means that you really need to pay attention to the map, pay attention to where your teammates position, what they are doing, and try to make use of them to be able to get that edge in a destroyer to destroyer fight. Okay. Now, as I said before, this have Pan-Asian smoke. What is Pan-Asian smoke? Pan-Asian smoke essentially have a really, it's a medium, you know, smoke dispersion time, but the smoke active, the consumable active for is quite long. And also because of this, you know, mechanism, you actually only roughly like 40 seconds without smoke, okay, and 40 or 30 seconds without smoke if you utilize all your smokes to its maximum potential, right? That means that you always have smokes whenever you're ready. Now it's not the best like the Britain smoke where you constantly have them, but you know, I think that this is much better than the British smoke in my opinion, because I can farm in my smoke without really focusing on the timer as much as in the UK DDs, but I don't penalize too much if I need to vacate my smoke, right? Because you know, only 130 seconds consumable reload time compared to maybe American smoke, which is really long. So yeah, that is probably one of my I guess a pros in my opinion. Now you might say this is a cons, but I think it's a pros, okay? Compared to American smokes, I think Pan-Asian smokes are much more utilitarian compared to American smokes, where it is more cooperative way, right? Now you also have huge amounts of smoke at your disposal. If you do superintendent, I think you can get 5 smokes, so that's a lot of smokes. And I do recommend that you use superintendent on this captain, on this ship, because you want that extra smoke, you want that extra torpedo reload booster to do more, spamming of those 2 sets of torpedoes, and also you want your engine boost. I think that this engine boost is, even though it's -8% only, it helps me, move around the map. It helps me dodge shells, acceleration juke, and also it helps me to dodge torpedoes. That's the one of the key reasons why you want to run engine. You want to get an extra engine boost. It's just that engine boost increases your acceleration. So in case that you are stationary, etc., and torpedo salvo that you haven't predicted happen, you can push that speed boost button and you can accelerate out of the way of that torpedo. Now I wouldn't recommend, if you playing random, to use radar, because you only have 7.5 kilometers radar and you don't actually have the gunpowder to deal with the enemy DDs. So essentially you need to to rely on your teammates to deal the damage, which is not necessarily the best, except maybe if you're playing in the division. Okay, so if you look at this clip right now in this video, I'm stalking these 2 battleships, the Iowa and the Satsuma, while I'm trying to defend A, where the enemy Holland is trying to cap A. Now I'm targeting the Satsuma here. I'm predicting him to turn out, so I shoot much more farther than the white line a bit, and then I wait for a couple seconds and I shoot the second set that I have used my torpedo reload booster. You can see there the cooldown is quite long at 40 seconds, like 4 minutes 40 seconds, which is insanely long. But because this is quite powerful, I think that is quite justified, right? It's quite justified for the long reload. You can see there, the sets are coming to the Satsuma, and he doesn't even notice that until just in front of his ship. And I'm kind of distracted here for the Halan. I didn't expect him to come out from there, but we have managed to hit 4 drops on the Satsuma, and we hit another 3. You can see there we get a flooding, right? If you look at the Satsuma, he has already used his damage control, and for my second set, his damage control is already down because Japanese battleships 10 seconds. That's why he got more flooded, right? That is one of the best use of torpedo reload booster, is just to combo them and get a perma flooding if you can guarantee hits, and just hope for getting floodings, right? Because these torpedoes have actually 369% flooding chance, if I'm not mistaken, if I look at the ship tools in third-party tools, third-party websites. Now because of the difficulty of dodging these shells, dodging these torpedoes, it is quite reasonable to believe that if you aim well, you can get those double salvos, right? Double floodings and permanent floodings quite easily. Okay. Now you do need to understand that how long the enemy the enemy damage control lasts for, but that's just simple. And you can just open tab, click the damage, click the icon on the ship, hover your cursor on the damage control, and just see how much seconds is there. It's simple, okay? It's not hard. If you already memorize it, then that's better, but you can just cheat like that, okay? Anyways, that is one of my best games in Chung Mu. I have more good game. The most best game. Yeah, I have more good games, but you know what? I think this one is probably quite good. I am 2.4 base XP, top end experience on a tier 11 battle with a tier 9 destroyer. So that's really good. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.